Okay, we're going to bring it on with some of your email questions, and we've got quite a few of them today, Pat. This is Terry, who says, my nephew is a 15-year-old high school freshman on the soccer team. His games are on Sunday mornings, and they even had a tournament on Good Friday. My sister and nephew are Christians. She feels torn as it appears they're putting sports before their faith as they miss church often during soccer season. This seems to be a prevalent problem today, sports versus church faith. He's hoping for a soccer scholarship, and Mom wants to support his passion for soccer, but she also wants to honor the Lord and feels they should be in church. She is torn and having a hard time finding any peace in all of this. What are your thoughts?
There's a restaurant. It's called Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
My wife calls it Chick-a-Phil. I said, no, darling, it's Chick-fil-A, Chick-a-Phil. But in any event, Mr. Cathy decided years and years ago that he was going to resist pressure and close on Sunday, that he wasn't going to do business on the Lord's Day, and he wasn't going to make his employees work on the Lord's Day. Well, Mr. Cathy, from a little fish fillet up to a huge chain, is a multi-billionaire before he passed away. And the restaurant is as popular. They're lined up to get into it. It is unbelievable on a Tuesday or Wednesday afternoon about 1 or 2 o'clock. Try to get into a Chick-fil-A. The lines all strength all around. Why? They were faithful to the Lord. Now listen, I know sports are important, but the time, you know that man who they did the movie about, who was the runner, he wouldn't run on Sunday. He wouldn't do this. Well, I'm sorry, you know, which is more important, Jesus or soccer? And God can make a way for your son without having to compromise his faith. And you just tell the coach, I am not going to have my son play on Sunday. We are not going to play on Good Friday. We're not going to play on Easter. We're going to honor God. And if you don't like it, he can't participate. And he happens to be your star. Well, you're not going to get a star. So just tell him. But
what do you think about, I mean, I'm just curious to know your opinion on this, because we go to church often on Saturday night because there's a Saturday night service, and it's not as crowded.
But we've still got a day of rest. You have to have a day of rest. The Sabbath was made for man, not man for the Sabbath. You and I and every human being needs 1 day out of 7 to rest. It isn't so much you go to church, you need a day to rest. And if everything is jam all day long, it's small wonder we've got so much mental breakdown. We're a Prozac nation, so everybody's all hyped up because we don't rest. Okay, next question.
Okay, next question is from Linda. I'm a Christian woman who's married to a wonderful, loving man, but he is an atheist. I think that it might have been college that changed him. His parents are Baptists. My mother says to pray to God to change his heart. She said, don't preach or try to force your religion on him. You'll only push him away. What's your opinion?
I think Mother's right on that one. And the Bible indicates you be a godly woman, you show forth your godliness to him. And without a word, that's what the Bible says, without a word, you can win him to the Lord by the way you live. And I think that's what you ought to do right there. Okay?
Okay, this is Stephen, who says, the term Jezebel is commonly used to mean a whore or loose woman. But I've read the Bible all the way through, and it doesn't say anything about her sex life, only that she was a pagan queen of Israel who was killed for her witchcrafts and eaten by the dogs. Where does the claim she was a whore come from?
You know something, you know, these guys are too smart by half. It's in Revelation, and I had our staff get the reference, so if you want it, it's Revelation 2:20. Nevertheless, I have this against you. You tolerate that woman Jezebel, who calls herself a prophet. By her teaching, she misleads my servants into sexual immorality and the eating of food sacrificed to idols. She leads my servants into sexual immorality. Revelation 2:20. Jezebel was a pagan queen, the wife of Ahab, and she led that whole country into idolatry. And when Elijah went after the priests of Baal, it was Jezebel who wanted to kill him. So, okay.
This is a viewer who says, if same-sex couples, especially those who are married, claim they're Christians, how can they continue to live this lifestyle? As a Christian, if they read the Bible, they should know the Bible's definition of marriage is only between a man and a woman. Please help me understand.
Look, political correctness is trying to do away with biblical values. Chaplains that care to this are being censured in the military. Businesses that want to hold their standards. The gays and lesbians want to control everything. This is part of the left-wing agenda, to do away with Christian values and substitute for Christian values the, progressive concepts of morality. You take away prayer in the school, you take away Bible reading in the school, you take away this, that, and the other. You tell me, if anybody, if you show me one couple that conceived a child through anal intercourse, just show me one in all the world, and I will say, I agree with you, you're right. Show me one. There are 8 billion people, 7 billion. Show me one time when a child was conceived by that kind of sexual activity. It is unnatural. I'm sorry.
Okay, this is Juliana, who says, an old friend of my husband is getting married with a girl 20 years younger than him. She's 20 years old, and she said that they met online when she was 16, and they've been dating since. They've invited us for their wedding, but I don't feel comfortable going because I feel he's almost a pedophile for dating a girl so young. I want to mention also that this is his third marriage, and she's from a foreign, underdeveloped country. My husband and I think that she might have been sold to him or something like that. I want to know if we should attend this wedding or not. My husband thinks we should because we're the only Christians among our family and friends. And if we don't go, we can create a tension among our family and friends. What should we do?
Third marriage. I mean, has he bought a slave? I mean, does he own her? It sounds like it. It sounds like he bought her. You can go overseas and buy somebody.
Yeah, I've actually seen that happen.
$500,
I've seen that.
You've seen it? Mm-hmm. Those little girls get sold.
Well, I've seen businessmen come into hotels, and yeah, I mean, it's
in
not
Thailand,
unusual.
I remember that one girl in the orphanage, she ran away because the guys had come up from Bangkok and they would buy them a refrigerator, a television set, and so it sounds like we're dealing with white slavery. It's not just pedophilia. One of the famous love stories in ancient literature was Eloise and Abelard, the old monk and this young girl. It was a great love affair. So there's nothing that says an older man can't love a young woman or a young woman can't love an older man. There's nothing that says there's anything wrong with that at all. But if you've bought a girl from overseas and you're going to use her for sex...
Well, it sounds like they're just, suspicious that it could be that. But
yeah, but it's his third marriage. Well, I mean, come on. But anyhow,
what do you always say? Follow your conscience.
Well, but I would, if it was just straight out old man marrying a young girl, by all means go to the wedding. Why not? Mm-hmm. This case, you're talking about a girl from a third world country, and it's his third marriage, and it's not the same thing. Yeah. Okay, one more. Okay,
this is Jeff, who says, I watch the 700 Club every day, but cannot accept the doctrine you teach. One example, on today's program, Gordon said that Moses talked to God, quote, face to face. If God has a face, then he must have other body parts too. The Bible seems to clearly say that God has a body, but you teach that he doesn't. Also, what happened to Jesus' physical body after he appeared to Mary and others? Can you see why I'm confused?
Let me tell you what, God is not a German tax collector. Let's face it, everybody's so little. You remember when that shuttle disaster took place? Peggy Newman wrote a speech for Ronald Reagan. It was brilliant. And he said, they reached up and touched the face of God. You remember that? Well, you call it onomatopoeia. This is, or I'll say it right, my tongue's tied, anthropomorphisms. We say God has a hand. The hand of the Lord is not changed. Does he have hands? Well, no. Does he have eyes? The eyes of the Lord look throughout the whole earth. Does he have eyes? You don't know.
Ours, yeah.
Does he have a face? Well, he's a spirit. He's a burning, blazing spirit. But we use these things. We give the characteristics of human beings to God. Yes, he's a spirit, but you can certainly reach out and say he was face to face. If you read 1 John, it says, quote, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was pros, P-R-O-S in Greek, face to face with God. Mirror image, face to face with God. Well, how else are you going to describe it? We're human beings. We have hands, feet, mouth, faces.
And words.
And we're trying to get some words.
Yeah.
So don't get so cotton picking literal, okay, Terry?
Okay. That's all the time we have for today.